Thank you for taking time to participate in this search committee. The selection of new faculty is a collective responsibility that is time-consuming and often a thankless expectation. I appreciate your time and your attention. The purpose of this presentation is to share my approach to course design and how I would design and teach the practicum in School Library Media Centers for the Instructional Technology program at Georgia Southern University. Most first-time course creators, when they sit down to build their course content, take the brain dump approach. They put every lesson that they can think of about the subject on a list, and then they use that as a beginning outline to create the course. This approach may certainly focus on what the instructor can best teach, but it is an approach that focuses wholly on information delivery. In many situations, like the case of the practicum for School Library Media Centers, where there is no new content delivery, what would we put on the list? According to the information provided, this course serves as a final practical experience, a course where skills can be employed with supervision in a real-world context. This course is not about teaching content, but more about conceptual problem solving, communication, negotiation, and collaboration. This course seeks to allow students to improve or develop what we have come to call soft skills, while employing previously learned activities that make up core activities in the profession. This course also has another purpose, and it is a purpose for the program. It is a program assessment for SPA review and accreditation. The outcomes of this course will serve as data for review. While there are many approaches to course design that one may take, I believe in our current academic climate and sociocultural context that backward design is the most effective approach, and certainly the best approach when designing a practicum course. Backward design begins with the objectives of the course, that is, what are students expected to be able to do or accomplish, and then proceeds backward to create the course in such a way as to achieve those goals. This type of course focuses attention as course designers, particularly on assessments that are student goal-driven, not based on instructor processes or relaying large amounts of information. Indeed, since this course provides no new instructional content, the focus must shift to the assessments. In the backward design process, student learning is structured based upon assessments that are intentionally designed to provide evidence that students have achieved the course goals. The first step in backward course design is to clearly articulate the final results of the course. Designers typically begin by asking themselves, what do I want my students to be able to think and do by the end of this course? How will my students be different by the end of the course? What will my students need to achieve these goals? What are some considerations from my front-end analysis? Since I also believe in student-centered design, it is important for me to consider the sociocultural context of the candidate population for this course. I find it helpful to complete some type of standard questioning tool in order to assist in thinking about the course delivery framework. There is an interesting job aid that was published last year that can help situate your learners' needs. That job aid was developed by Hodges, Moore, Lockheed, and Bond. You will find my quick and simple front-end analysis employing this job aid located on the website created for this presentation. The front-end analysis provided a pre-consideration of candidates' needs in the design process. To summarize, students often come to this course with feelings of anxiety due to the nature of a self-guided professional practical experience, where all items should be completed by a deadline, but no timeline for completion is provided. The candidate must assume the role of professional librarian and manage their task accordingly. Due to the nature of the experience, this course will employ the pedagogy of care construct as a community of practice. For more information about communities of practice, please visit the link on the website provided. Establishing this overarching framework involves decisions about the placement of learning outcomes, the location of the content and assessments, and learning activities. This framework simulates what frequently happens in the professional learning environment for a library media specialist, in that locating resources, completing tasks associated with performance, and communication tools are not centrally located, but require the professional to manage a host of platforms and applications. Following the establishment of the initial framework, the design proceeds with these specific details. To ensure candidate support, resources are placed on the Practicum website to allow candidates to find the critical course information in an easily accessible location. Candidates construct e-portfolio websites, and they serve as the record of performance. The delivery platform will serve as the community of practice and communication hub to ensure timely responses to student inquiries and questions, with optional opportunities to interact with the instructor and other Practicum candidates. One of the most important tools instructors have to help establish a productive remote learning experience is the learning management system, the LMS. Too many view the LMS as a digital warehouse for course content and a repository for course grades. It can and should be more than this. For most students, the LMS represents the school in its virtual form, and the course room is a representation of the instructor. Students want a well-managed LMS with a well-planned, well-crafted, clear, and understandable course page or pages that promote two key concepts: simplicity and navigability. By simplicity, I mean course spaces that prioritize essential elements and relegate or even discard non-essential content. By navigable, I mean digital course spaces that utilize a consistent structure that clearly elucidates class activities and student responsibilities. The next module is the submission module, to share items and complete tasks that are related to assessments. The final module is an exit survey to provide students the ability to communicate about anything in the course or during the course upon its completion. This course delivery framework may alleviate some of the apprehension our students feel. A well-designed digital course space can reduce anxiety about finding and completing work. Most students in this course will have familial and work obligations that require them to complete tasks at unconventional hours. A simple and navigable course design can facilitate learning even if the instructor is not available. The pandemic prompted us to focus even more acutely on our design goals. However, a simple, navigable approach will be valuable long after the COVID-19 pandemic hopefully subsides, and students will appreciate it regardless of course modality. This course is a small community of practice that will prepare candidates for the larger community of practice in their careers. Interacting with students online is not as spontaneous as face-to-face classes. Given the physical distance and reduced communication cues between students and instructors, online students can feel disconnected or isolated from the instructor when they do not interact regularly. Therefore, establishing instructor presence and actively engaging with students are particularly important for students enrolled in asynchronous online courses. I establish my presence as an instructor in a number of ways. First, by posting weekly announcements. The announcement forum is an easy place to communicate with the entire class, even if only once a week. My news items may include reminders, comments or a summary of a current discussion, maybe some general comments on practicum experiences, some opportunities to clarify any muddy learning points with examples from student work, possibly a link to a relevant video or article, a PLN item from the field, or maybe just some personal news I'd like to share with the class. On another day of the week, I would post weekly in the discussion forum a story or one or two sentences to provoke personal reflection. It could also be a short video or an audio recording, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, something to generate conversation. Student responses are not required, but all will be responded to when made. I also plan to hold virtual office hours as well, either by phone or Zoom or Microsoft Teams. And finally, I believe it is important to have moments where students have the option to connect. And I would offer a synchronous class opportunity, bi-weekly Zooms, to allow students, should they choose to meet online with audio or video for whole class sharing, they can. I also believe that timely monitoring of activity in the course shell and on ePortfolio sites is important to student satisfaction and motivation. So I respond within 24 hours, and I try to make comments on portfolio items or blogs. Monitoring student progress gives students the opportunity to ensure student achievement. It also allows the instructor to identify students at risk or who may struggle in order to provide them with some support. If there are any opportunities to meet the students in the practicum experience physically, I would like to do that as well. The key to online teaching is making a meaningful connection to each student through your interactions so that they feel empowered in their learning, and I am committed to providing that experience. The practicum in school library media centers serves as a final course experience for candidates in the instructional technology program. This video explained how I would approach the design and teaching of the course. I thank you for your time and attention, and I look forward to hearing from you and answering your questions.